Everyone, welcome back to this lecture on setting up a EC2 instance. In this lecture, we will be launching an EC2 instance and setting it as a web server using Apache. As part of our previous lecture, you would have seen we have set up an VPC and allocated subnets and route tables for it. So we'll be proceeding with launching an instance in this. So as soon as you log into the console, search for EC2. Once you get into EC2, go into the instances section and click on launch instances. So I'll be naming it as a web server or else my Apache server. And in this case, I'll be using Amazon Linux to AMI image. But in whatever, I mean, you can use whatever AMI which you are suitable for your needs. Let it be Ubuntu or a Windows and so on, so on. So I'll be configuring T2 micro since it's an free tier eligible and I'm not going to have more compute utilizations. But there will be a lot of other things as well which you can still have a look and see based on your needs, right? You can configure the relevant type. So if I scroll down here, right, I'll be editing this VPC section. So I'll be allocating this EC2 instance, launching this EC2 instance in my app VPC, and I'll be launching in my public subnet so that it can be accessible from the internet. So I'll be creating a security group. So the security group is the one which allows access to this EC2 instance via some network ports. So for this EC2 instance, what I'll do is so I'll add a security rule group. Oh, what I'll do is I'll add an HTTP, which is port 80 to everyone so that anyone can access this web server. So, and I'll add my SSH to my own IP, which I'll do it later. And so for the EC2 instance, I have used 8 GB of volume, but you can update it to relevant accordingly. So, and then if I go into advanced details, so as one of our previous IAM lectures, we have told we can launch an EC2 instance with the role. So since we already have the role here, we can use that role and assign it to the CVC2 instance. However, we don't need the role in this case, but just for demo purposes, I am doing it here. Just leave the other things as a default and launch the instance. So in this case, right, you can create a new key pair and or else you can just ignore it. So in this case, I'll be ignoring the new key pair and I'll launch the instance. Key pair is more like a security key, but since it's a demo purpose, right, I'm not launching it. So if you see here, right, the instances is in running state. What I need to do is to access this EC2 instance via SSH. SSH is more like a terminal access to our server. So what I'll do is I'll add the relevant IP configuration over here. If I go into my security groups, I'll edit the inbound rule and add an SSH. So for now, I'll be allowing anywhere, but it's not recommended way. You should be allowing only the authorized people to access this EC2 instance. So now I will go back to my EC2 instance section. So if I went back into me, I'll use the EC2 connect option to connect launch into the instance. So I'll be connecting into the instance. See, if you hear after connecting into the instance, I have created a shell script. So what I'll do is I'll create a apache.sh shell script. So I'll add the shell script as part of the resources so that you can make use of it. So I have added the commands for so the m update is nothing but updating the existing packages, and then you'll be installing HTTP is nothing but the Apache server. So you'll be installing the Apache server into this EC2 instance, and then you'll be starting it as a service. And the enable is nothing but for whenever the EC2 instance reboot, right? It will be automatically restarted this Apache server. Similarly, status is nothing but for checking whether the Apache service is turned on or off. So what I'll do is I'll save this file and I'll execute this. S- So if you see here, right, the Apache service is getting installed right now. So once it's installed and you can see the active is running, the Apache service is running right now. So if you go back to your EC2 instance section, you will have a public IP allocated to it. So just copy the IP and open in another browser tab and just put in the IP. You can see it works and it's accessible via the internet. So that's how we will be setting up an Apache server in an EC2 instance. Similarly, we can configure other servers like web servers like Nginx or any other application as per our needs. So that's it for this lecture. I hope to see you in another lecture. Thank you.